Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Trip Around Multiverse with your hosts, the nepotism hire, Kyle Charles,
and the son of the man who is Space Mountain, CY Chung.
and today, once again, we've punished ourselves. Honestly, it depends. We decided, CY decided, hey, let's review some David Flair matches because he's just as good as his dad and sister. So we watched his
Yeah.
run in WCW.
It's just one of those things where you think back and you're like, oh yeah, and then you're like, actually, I do wonder, watching it years later, how bad the guy was.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we are using the www.profightdb.com, which is like an internet wrestling database.
Yeah.
We're switching it up, right? And we're like, all right, well, let's do the top 5 David Flair matches because you'd think he'd have at least 5. And even the top 5 of the bad wrestlers we see, they weren't bad. They weren't too bad because they were the top 5, of course.
Yeah.
This guy's only got 8 matches rated full stop, and I'm sure he had much more than 8 in WCW.
Yeah, because he did wrestle in, if I remember, in TNA / NWA at a point.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, and some WWE.
Oh, did he?
I'll get to that later then, because we're doing these matches in chronological order. And we're gonna go by this, which only has 8 matches, though I do record him being in several more matches, blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
But we'll work with what we got.
Yeah.
Okay, Sold Out 99. This is January 17th, 1999. David and Ric Flair in a tag match versus Barry Windham and Kurt Hennig. What are your thoughts going here?
He did nothing.
Okay, so he did nothing. Well, actually, no. Okay, no, you are right, and you're also wrong, right?
Well, I wouldn't say he did nothing, but he did the minimal of anything.
No, he did nothing significant, but he did a lot of things of note. If you get my drift.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, okay.
And the reason is because this is the first time it seems like he's ever been on TV, so it's so bad. You notice the things that he just does not do that everyone else does.
Yeah.
He did a head scissors takeover where his legs came loose, so Barry Windham had to tuck his own head back in the legs and then kind of correct that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you notice that Ric Flair, Barry Windham, and Kurt Hennig are all like active, but David Flair's just staring like blank forward.
Yes.
No, nothing, no playing to the crowd and nothing like that.
No.
Just on the ring apron, not even cheering his dad or something, just trying to stick out for the tag. I'm not criticizing, I'm just saying like, okay, well it is criticizing, but the point is to say you shouldn't have put that guy in that position. And if you were going to do that, you need to feed him every single bit of the script that he's meant to be doing.
Yeah, he did.
Like even when he's supposed to be trash talking or pointing or interacting with referee or whatever, the crowd claps, whatever. You need to baby step him every single step of the way.
Yeah.
Arn Anderson was out there, so you should have actually just been like, all right, let me be the guy to just the point man,
Yeah.
Yeah, but oh my goodness, yeah. And you would have thought, right, of all the things that he learned to do, he could just you could just lay in those chops, yeah, and then people can sell those chops as though they're the Gunther chops. Even though they're not, but I'm just like, if you're gonna give him the one move, right, that is actually gonna work, give him the chop that's basic, right?
Yeah.
And it's related to Ric Flair, and people can sell it for him and make him look good, as long as he's laying them in, because it's not a danger to them. It's not like he's gonna drop them in the neck and actually kill them.
Yeah.
Rick locks in the figure 4, and that's the first time we get some emotion from David. Oh, jeez. Kurt Hennig was outside the ring, shenanigans, of course, and then he walks in from the side of the ring that David Flair's, right?
Yeah.
And then He basically just walks past David Flair. David Flair does nothing. He's still sticking his hand out, and he's just like, "Is your peripheral? Can you just not see Kurt Hennig right next to you and walking in the ring?" I don't know what that. I mean, I guess they told him to like had to wait for his spot, but he just was waiting a bit too concentrated.
Yeah,
like he didn't know what to do if it was out of whatever they told him to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, the finish is also funny, right? Because Ric Flair is legal, yeah.
Yep.
Kurt Hennig is going to Hennigplex David, and I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. Yeah. Arn Anderson comes in, hits Kurt Hennig. So then Kurt Hennig flops backwards, and he has to reach to grab David Flair, right, and pull David Flair on top of him on the way down. To get for the pin. I was like, oh my goodness, right? What? And then David Flair got the pin, right? Which is fine. Okay, Kurt Hennig got hit with a crowbar, whatever, yeah? But it's just like, David, you just... Okay, you can say that Kurt Hennig was flailing grabbing because he was dizzy from the hit or whatever, right? But it's just like, dude had to cover for you and had to cover himself with you. Like, oh well, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is also the bit where then the NWO go cuff Ric Flair to the ring and then they whip David, right? Which is where he starts selling, but how much of it is selling and how much of it was actually in pain.
That bit went on for way too long, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
It was like, milking this now. And what I found hilarious about this, Hulk Hogan was in Hulk Hogan mode the whole time. Because you hear Ric Flair like drop some F-bombs, like that stuff. And then Hulk Hogan's just, I am the man, and whatever rubbish he was spraying.
This piece of trash right here.
And I'm the all that stuff. Like, be like Ric Flair. Make it seem like it's actually something real, you know, rather than I'm not going to say any naughty words because I'm the Hulk star.
Well, yeah, but he probably knows the camera's right, like, in his face.
Yeah, but still, like...
I mean, there's a line to be drawn, but you can't behave in a certain way, right? Where it looks like you're a bad boy because you're going to do stuff.
Yeah.
But then he's just like, I'm PG-13 NWO Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, this is for you, Eazy-E. I love Eric Bishop. Oh, God, come on, man. This is just... this is when you know, like... This is basically when you're at the NWO just dying because it's just... this is just dumb.
Yeah. So, as David Flair's first match, what did you think?
It was alright. It wasn't great.
Yeah, look, I will say he did... Okay, if you're critiquing it on a guy who's never wrestled before...
Yeah.
He did as well as you could possibly ask him to do, probably, right?
Yeah.
It's terrible because he really shouldn't put people in those positions. Is my issue with it. Not David Flair himself, you know.
Yeah.
And you remember when there was the tag titles on the line in WWE and Sheamus, the Bar were champions, and what's his name, Braun Strowman, grabbed the kid from the crowd to be his tag team partner, and then when the kid got tagged in, he didn't do anything. And Braun Strowman tagged himself back in. And it was like, okay, well that makes sense, you know.
Yeah. That made more sense than this match. Yeah.
If anything, like David is basically okay. Even when they go to lock up one another, his arms are down and dangling.
Yeah.
Right? So he's like, what are you trying to do? You're not even trying to pretend to be Olympic, amateur wrestling grappling or nothing. You're just kind of like, you're leading with your head. And it's just like, in the fake world of wrestling, this makes it even more fake looking.
But you know what? I kind of respect him for that because he kind of going like legit, like he doesn't know what he's doing, which
it is true.
So
it kind of, but then he does actually not know what he's doing.
Yeah. So like, it made it very meta. But like, it's like okay, I kind of get it. He got sort of forced into this because like if he was like putting out all these like sick moves and stuff, like
no. Yeah, definitely not that. I'm just saying the basics. Right? Teach him the figure four, teach him the chop, yeah? That's all he needs to do. Nothing, I don't know about selling anything, but then put him in position to do too much of that then.
Yeah.
And that would have helped him through this match.
Yeah.
But, I don't know about the carrying a bit. I mean, I'm sure Kurt Angling's got the ability to carry people. Yeah, I don't know about Barry Windham too much, right? But
he does as well. Apparently, he does as well. But it's like it just.
Is it David Flair just basically absorbed both their carry abilities and still rated 0?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you can tell that he wasn't made for wrestling, like, and it kind of shows in this man. And like later on, it gets slightly better, but you know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, when we get to and do wrap up, I'll see what I think. But okay, next match. Bash at the Beach '99, July the 11th. David Flair versus Dean Malenko, and David Flair's United States champion at this point, which he just basically got gifted the title.
Oh, that I was thinking there like, wait, huh? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nepotism. All right, cool.
Yeah, by Ric Flair, I believe he just got gifted the title. Yeah. He got vacated and he got gifted it. All right, fine, okay. Right? And then I believe. Oh, by the way, I was going to say the match length of the previous match was about 10 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
About 14 minutes. I don't know if it felt longer or shorter, but it was okay. It probably felt the amount of time it was, which I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or bad thing sometimes.
Yeah, depends. Yeah.
Okay, so David Flair versus Dean Malenko. David Flair's gimmick, it seems, is the United States champion who cannot get any offense in whatsoever, which I accept, right? Now, I haven't watched all his United States titles defenses, but if that's the gimmick, I get it, right?
Yeah.
But he has to be able to sell to be able to do that gimmick, even if he can't really get any offense in.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. He takes a back bump, which is fine, right? And I'd say there's an improvement in in-ring movement and selling. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's Ric Flair light. That's his gimmick at the moment, right?
Yes.
Which is better than having no gimmick at all, which was his previous gimmick, right?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
This is the next evolution of the son of Ric Flair. Anyways, so I think it gave him something. But then it also pointed out that if Ric Flair's your dad, you should have some ability, right? But
not really, but I get what you mean.
Yeah. You kind of draw unfortunate comparisons.
Yeah.
I think Dean Malenko is having more beef outside with Ric Flair than actual in-match beef with David Flair.
Yeah.
Which, okay, you got time to... you got to carry this boy, and you got to really do stuff, yeah? So, fine if you kind of fill up ring time indirectly. However, this is only a 3-minute match, so... Huh? If you need to do that... Yeah, he does a very, very loose cloverleaf on David.
Yeah,
I don't think he hooks the other leg in that knee very tightly, but I'll give credit because he don't want to hurt the guy, right? Fair enough. Yeah. David taps up no referee. Yeah. No ref. Yeah. Malenko slams and cloverleafs Asia.
Yeah.
Do you mind, by the way, explaining Asia to me?
Was...
I know to me, about to the people who don't know about Asia but do know about China.
She was the WCW ripoff of China. So and they named her Asia because Asia is bigger than China because Asia is a continent and China is a country. Yeah. Even though she's like 2 foot shorter than China and not as
exactly.
Big,
Sure, so none of it made sense. No. If Nicole Bass was over there and they called her Asia, all right.
Yeah. But I was like, okay, you can be more creative with the names, but all right, sure. All right. Yeah. But yeah.
Rick bashes Dean Malenko over the head with the US belt. Charles Robinson takes the ref shirt and checks in on David, right?
Yeah.
When Dean Malenko is getting hit, you know how it is, right?
Yeah.
It's heel tactics, which is fine, okay? Yeah. And so so Charles Robinson misses all these shenanigans, or Ric Flair pulls David on top of Malenko to make the 3 count. It's just like, all right, you didn't see what happened there, but you did see Rick pull David over Dean Malenko. So But then again, you're a corrupt referee, so whatever, right?
Yeah,
it's fine. But a lot of smoke and mirrors for a 3-minute match. You know,
yeah.
You could have just done this in if you were going to do this, and it's going to end the way it was going to end, you could have just done it in half the time.
Yeah, or just not even the match don't even start, just straight up, just like.
Well, yeah. So the match needs to start. It needs to get beat up, and then Rick needs to hit him. They don't need all the I don't know shenanigans.
Yeah, it was kind of pointless.
Yeah, especially since it was going to be short anyways. Might as well just make it shorter then, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Or like you say, then we get to the point where it could even start. It's just like, yeah.
It's like, what did you? I don't know who gained from this match? Like, no one really.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
And they were kind of saying like, yeah, Dean Malenko is this, but then you kind of like,
yeah,
not bury him, but like.
So if this is going to lead to a Malenko versus Flair match or something, fine, right? But we don't even know if it's going in that direction. To be fair,
no, because I think pretty sure not long after this is when Malenko left to go to WWE. But yeah, and I can kind of see why. Things like this, like, oh.
All right, so randomly, Kimberly versus David Flair, and I was like, oh my goodness, how is this gonna go? Yeah. WCW Mayhem '99, November 21st, 1999. And I'm like, right. Now, David Flair's not a great worker. No. He's still learning. Yeah. As you can see, he's actually gotten better. Right? Yeah. But, when you start from that base so low, when you start at 0 and you creep up to 3, that's still not great.
Yeah.
Kimberly, I was like, I don't know about her ability to carry anyone to anything match-wise, right?
Yeah.
But, however, she's got ring ability to some degree. Not wrestling, but the acting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe she can carry with her mannerisms. I don't know, right?
Maybe.
But I was like, well, okay. When you saw this match, what were you thinking?
I was thinking, why is this happening?
Yeah.
Who is going to be in charge of this match? And
yes, who's going to put it together?
Yeah. And I was like, this shouldn't. It's just, there's so many questions that even the answers still don't make sense. I was like,
yeah. Oh, the notable bit, right? It's a notable section where I think Kim actually does more better in ring acting than David.
Yes, she does.
Right. She gives David a dick kick, which he notes sells, and I'm like, all right, okay. Yeah. Then he goes to the corner and gets the crowbar, because now he's got a mad crowbar gimmick, yeah?
Yeah.
Hits himself in the dick.
Yes.
And I'm like, what? Okay. And I quite rightfully, Kim is scared and she's begging off. Because they're like, what?
What kind of nutcase does this? Yeah.
Yeah. Now, she gets on her knees, yeah? And then everything looks a bit like rated R superstar, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, I see where this is going, because she's pretending to do that. Then she pulls out his athletic cup, hits him twice with it over the head, and then dick kicks him. All right, and then she gets on top of him and gets him to inhale his own ball.
His own cup thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's actually hilarious. David, right, okay, now if it was me, I would have sold it like I got acid thrown in my face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you got to do that over the top stuff. He didn't really do that. I'm like, all right, but this is a prime opportunity to completely ham it up. Like, Giant Gonzalez, right? He's terrible.
Yeah.
He don't know how to undersell, because he don't know how to sell properly.
Yeah.
But when he gets hit and he does it over the top, yeah, that's not what he should be doing. However, when you get hit with something like this, that's when you should be doing that.
Yeah, exactly. But no, just.
Now, then David shoves Kim off. Canyon attacks David, yeah? Canyon then gets hit with the crowbar. DDP comes in. Arn Anderson stops DDP attacking David Flair. Then David Flair hits Arn Anderson with a crowbar, and then runs off, and then Arn Anderson gets carted off. I'm like, right, so that's how this match finishes.
Yeah, pretty much. It made little to no sense.
Yeah. Now, I have to give it to David. At least the crowbar, the mad wacky crowbar, whatever he is gimmick, right?
Yeah.
Is giving him some sort of character.
Yeah.
And that's not a knock of Nature Boy, because I don't want to say that's very hard to do, but I think I think it's just like, okay, well, he's Ric Flair's son, and that's all you know him for. And you lean into it a bit too much. Let him try and be his own man-ish. Like, give him. I think they tried to help him by giving him something different.
But it's a bit too late, in my opinion. But
yeah. Okay. Next match. Yeah. David Flair versus DDP. Starrcade 99, December 19th.
Yeah. Hey, what was it? Crowbar on the pole match, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Another match that went on way too long.
Yes. And you know how long the match was?
How long?
4 minutes. No, not even 4 minutes. Way too long and not even 4 minutes. Yeah. To be fair, David does attack DDP with a crowbar before the bell.
Yeah.
And Paige sells it.
Yeah.
And then the referee's about to call the match. And then DDP shoved the ref off, and then they actually start the match, yeah? Because he didn't want to forfeit. Yeah? So that's when then the match ring bell actually starts. So that doesn't count in the match. They play with them axe handles, then
and then nothing happens off that. Really, he just gets like murdered by DDP.
Yeah, he does. Well, he does the sunset flip, which I'm like, okay, David actually expanding his moveset.
Just about, yeah.
And he does a DDT, but yes, most of the time it's just getting beat up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why was they feuding? Wait, wasn't the feud? Wasn't he stalking? I don't know if.
Yeah, stalking Kim.
Okay, cool. I couldn't remember if I made it up from like.
No, he was stalking Kimberly for some reason.
Okay, yep, that makes sense.
David does a figure four, and DDP reverses it. But then you know how when the DDP the figure four reversal, you're meant to sell it because your legs like in that knee pressure lock or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
David does not. It's like, okay, you're forgetting something, boy.
Yeah, like come on, man. You know, everyone kind of knows this. But I guess again, a lot of the stuff he does, like not selling and stuff like that, I can see it as okay. He's under pressure and he can easily forget something like that. So
yeah. He's clunky, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
Well, and as much as I don't want to say was look, where any slaying his in-ring ability, not hit the man himself. Yeah, and I'll get to that later. No, I'm not going to cuss him. I'm just going to say, he's a winner in life in some ways that we could never be. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, he gets a crowbar. He swings at DDP, misses, takes the diamond cutter, done, dusted.
Yeah.
And when when he took the diamond cutter, the crowbar, I want to say the rubber crowbar, whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
It hits and bounces off David's hand, and David he bounces on David's hand and he sweeps it off. But he's like, dude, you're meant to be knocked out, you know?
Yeah, like, bro.
You know, don't. Yeah, but anyways, I would not say it was an amazing match. I would not say it was a terrible match. I would say for a 3-minute match, it felt longer than that.
Yeah. Because I remember, I know in most of the matches he tries to do the Ric Flair corner spot where he rolls up the turnbuckle out the ring, and like I think out of all these matches we watched, I think he pulls off once.
Well, okay. Now, here's the other thing. I watched some more David Flair matches on top of this, so he does pull it off more and pull it off better later on. Yeah. Okay, but because I've watched so many of them, I cannot tell you whether it's in the set of matches that we were meant to watch, or the sets of matches that I watched independently. Because apparently I'm glutton for
punishment.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
You hate yourself. Joking.
No, it's true. But then again, my curiosity is like, I want to see how he improved.
Yeah.
Like from the beginning to the end. So it was I went on a journey with him. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, you went on a growth journey with him. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Next match. Sold Out. 2000, January 16th. Vampiro versus Crowbar and David Flair in a triple threat match, which is basically not a triple threat match. It was basically Crowbar and Vampiro.
Yeah.
With, and David Flair occasionally assisting.
Yes.
Crowbar.
And this match was hilarious though. It was like Flair did barely nothing, like you said, and then there was a random bit where he gets pinned, and I think Crowbar kind of misses the mark to break it up, and then you see like Daphne's in the ring, and she's like taps on the head, and they say, "Oh, Daphne breaks up the pin." I was like, no, she just tapped people on the head to remind them that this is meant to kick out. But all right, sure, all right, I'll go with it. You know.
Yeah, David doing that, throwing terrible weak chops. Yeah.
Bless him.
And then, but yeah, basically, Vampiro keeps on throwing David out the ring, so he could actually just have the match with Crowbar early on. That's I was like, all right, fine, just keep the yeah. Crowbar and Vampiro botch a Kidman reverse powerbomb special.
Oh, that was hilarious. Where they both kind of land.
I don't know if Vampiro is meant to land on his feet or meant to do the face buster. Right, I just know that they kind of just both flopped it.
Yeah, they both just land on their knees like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What are we meant to do? Let's try it again later. And then you try it again later. Oh, hilarious.
David actually gets a good figure from Vampiro. Crowbar springs into splash on Vampiro for the pin.
Yeah.
Which, how would that, I guess, I mean, that people have pinned from that while they're in the submission before, so fair enough, right?
Yeah, fair enough. Well...
But then David realizes and grabs Crowbar's head to pull him off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a there's a segment where Vampiro grabs Daphne, she's in the corner, and and David's running towards him. And you can tell Vampiro is going to move out the way.
Yeah.
And I think he was meant to splash Daphne. I don't know for sure, right?
Yeah.
But okay, it seems like this, right? He's supposed to run in there and splash Daphne, but he did a very uncommitted splash.
Yes.
That didn't seem like it was supposed to touch her or not. Or I don't know if it was meant to or what was going on, because he misses Vampiro. That's 100%. Yeah. He gets a nail in the coffin. And Vampiro pins him.
And
now, but during this time, Daphne steps out of the ring. So I'm like, okay, if she got hit with the splash, she would have just fell to the floor and rolled out the ring.
Yeah.
If she didn't get hit by the splash, that's fine what she did. But because it was so clunky, I don't know.
Weird because she literally just like steps on the rope and stands on the apron. Like, wait, what?
Yeah. So unless she's no selling, I'm not sure what went on there.
Yeah, I just realized. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. This match went on about 10 minutes, but it wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad.
That's because the meat of the match was done by not David Flair.
Yeah, the two people could actually wrestle. Probably bad. They were basically in charge of the match. David Flair just had his spots, went knocked out the ring, and then probably had to give him time to think about what was happening next, and then carry on. Yeah, bit weird.
Okay, next match. Super Bowl 2000, February 20th. Johnny the Bull and Big Vito versus Crowbar and David Flair. Sicilian stretcher match.
Yeah.
Okay, gimmick all the way. And I will say, this kind of suits David Flair better because there's lots of other stuff you can do to disguise what you need to do other than actually have the ability to wrestle.
Yeah.
It served Sandman well for a lot of time, and you Jack, so...
Yeah. It weirdly did, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, wow.
Yeah. Okay. So Daphne does a Hurricane Rana on Johnny the Bull, who just no sells it. He basically he gets up from it.
Yeah.
it's like as if she did nothing to him. Like, no, she drops you on your head, right? Even if you're gonna say, if it was a chop, you could no sell it, right?
Yeah.
If it was a crossbody, you could just have her bounce off you, yeah.
Yeah, because you're a big strong man and she's a strong woman. Yeah.
But she rakes you off the ground with her feet, drop you on your head, and you're like, nah, no, that ain't gonna work for me, brother.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, okay, that's not weird.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The Mamelukes do a double hip toss into like they catch David's leg during the hip toss, and then they lift him up and slam him down. And I'm like, that boy sold that, and he sold it pretty well. Yeah. But how much of it was they actually legit just threw him into the ground?
Which I felt like that seems a bit taking liberties with the boss's son. All right.
I will say this. Vince and Shane, I believe. Well, Vince definitely. He takes more stiff hits when he's having a match to help him sell more.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the logic here.
Could be.
But wrestling selling and actual selling are completely different. You need to pantomime it up.
Yeah.
Hitting something for real.
It's not cool.
No, it's not that. It's just like, if I punched you in the face, right? You wouldn't sell it like a wrestling sell.
No. I mean, like, really, like, dude, that legit hurt. Why are you doing that?
It'd be a stagger or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But in wrestling, you take a punch, you just gotta be like, you gotta, whip your hair back and do a 360 or that sort of craziness. No, I'm only joking that, but there's a major reaction rather than a kind of more muted reaction.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, I broke my ankle, right?
Yeah.
I didn't sell it like wrestling. Even though I was in a wrestling match, I did not sell it like wrestling, yeah? Because that's when you have a legit injury, you don't sell like that.
No. You're not like, roll around.
Yeah. Like all the footballers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the Sicilian stretcher match, do you know what the rules are?
I just feel like a stretcher match, but there's 2 Italian people in it.
Yes, exactly.
That's legit what I just thought it was. Like,
Well, 3 if you count Disco Inferno. But yes. You're completely right. I'm like, what is... Okay, as far as I know, yes, it's like a stretcher match, but it's not like you have to be knocked out and tied on the stretcher. It's like, and pulled into like the ambulance or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
You could be put on the stretcher, and then the referees could take you backstage. Like, okay.
That's what confused me. Because I was like, am I not paying attention to this that much? Because like, when he gets put in the chair and they ruled him out, like, it's like, okay.
Yeah. So they taped, the Mamelukes taped David Flair onto and it's 1 by 1, by the way. Yeah. So David Flair gets taped to a stretcher and he gets taken back, taken to the back. And then Crowbar's left to fight by himself. The top rope splash Crowbar through a table that's outside from the inside, from top rope on the inside, Then they tape him to a stretcher and he gets taken. And then they're like, well, why don't we get all of them, right? Let's go Daphne, tie up to a wheelchair, and then get her taken away as well. I'm like, all right, fair enough. I like the bit at the end, why not? Daphne's screaming a bit over the top, and so I believe they tape her mouth as well. So, yeah, okay. Yeah. How did you find this match?
Because it was kind of like chaotic. It was slightly better, but then it was kind of chaotic, but for no reason, if that makes sense.
You say no reason because of the rules of the match, or just because you think they had to do that to disguise David Flair's inabilities?
That's what I think. Because like, there was like, there really wasn't no story to the match, really, was there? It was just like, let's just mess these guys up, and then have a finish where it leaves more questions than answers, which I've noticed a lot with this time period of WCW.
Oh yeah, well, WCW. What can you say? WCW got a WCW.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was a 10-minute match. How did that feel for you?
Could have been shorter.
Okay, but I didn't think it was that bad. The last 2 David Flairs matches at this point, because other people are involved, I think it helps take the pressure off him, and he doesn't, and the people that can wrestle do their stuff around him.
If I'm honest, the match isn't bad. It's just the endings are pretty like, wait, what?
Yeah.
At the end of it.
Yeah, and he has improved.
Yeah, he's improved a lot.
Yeah. Not great, but quite decent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Ric Flair versus David Flair at the Great American Bash 2000. This is June the 11th. Yeah. What were you thinking here?
I was more too busy thinking about the story. I was like, this is kind of stupid.
Yeah.
But all right, I'll quickly say the story. So apparently he was gonna get married to Stacy Keibler, and then she was pregnant, but it wasn't his baby. And then somehow Buff Bagwell claimed that he was the father, but he wasn't. So this match was to have a first blood match. So basically, it was a paternity test match or DNA test match. But
Not the Go on, sorry.
But the blood would be used. Wait, so yeah. Wait, so the blood would be used for the deed to find out the heritage of the baby, whatever. But it's like, but what if it doesn't really make any sense because does the winner get to cut open the loser? You know what I mean? It doesn't.
Yeah, but let me point out, you skipped a match. You skipped to the Buff Bagwell match.
Oh, we're talking about the Ric Flair and David Flair match.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Wait. Oh yeah, now I remember it. I was thinking, I don't know what. I totally just forgot about this match because nothing happens.
Yeah. I was thinking, hold on a minute. That's the story of the match. But yeah, just a second.
Oh god, my bad. All right.
Oh, but seeing as you skipped to that point, right? Let me cover that one. That was Halloween Havoc 2000, and that happened on 29th October. And I will say, like exactly as you said, yeah. As much as I have comments on the other matches and notes, this one doesn't have a lot because David Flair is competent. Not amazing, but he's competent at this point.
Just about, yeah.
He's. I mean, I want to say Buff is the greatest person to carry whatever, but he was made entertaining.
Yeah.
And David Flair wasn't super stiff or bad anymore.
No.
Not that he was good.
No.
But he was able to do the bits that he was needing to do.
Yeah, as he's been in this for about a year at this point.
Yeah, thrown on live TV works. She's like, yeah. But as you said, David Flair loses because he gets busted open, even though I think he gets hit with a chair, right?
Yeah.
And then Buff blockbusters them anyway, right? But then the referee sees that David Flair's all bleeding. And so, yeah, David couldn't get the paternity test, except then Luger comes out to congratulate Buff. And then turns on Buff for some reason.
Yeah.
It's him open. So then David Flair could get the DNA and he runs off of it. All right. Okay.
See, it doesn't make any sense.
No. All I could think was, what? Why?
Yeah.
All right.
Why?
Yeah.
To this day, 23 years later, I'm like, why? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So if...
go on.
So if Dave... So yeah, because if Buff wins, so then the DNA test doesn't happen.
Yes.
But then
But even though Buff did win, and then he got David got the blood anyway for the DNA test.
Yeah. It make sense.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah. And he didn't even have to win the match to make Buff Bagwell bleed. Yeah. Even though it was the first blood match, you can make him. Apparently, blood on your body parts aside from your head doesn't count. I don't know. Sometimes I think it depends on the rules of the first blood match because he could have just getting slashed on the chest or something like that.
Yeah.
And then it's up to the referee. Even though sometimes in first blood matches, pinfalls end up winning. We know that one from Ric Flair and Hogan having a cage match. Both of them ended up bleeding, and then Hogan won with a leg drop.
Yeah.
But that's because I think Charles Robinson did not count deliberately.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't cause the match deliberately so it could help Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to David Flair versus Ric Flair.
The main event, basically, yeah. Okay. I spent most of the match thinking, oh, there's Charlotte. Huh.
yes.
that distracted me from it. Like as much as I was like, she was a kid back then. Oh, she's my age.
Yeah.
Should have been the same age as me.
I will say Vince Russo, Vinny Roo. As much as there's a lot of bashing of.
Yeah.
As much as there's a lot of bashing of Vinny, he when he gets on a mic, he can talk and he has actual presence. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Stuff that David Flair does not have.
Yes, he is like a robot on cruise control.
Yes. Yeah. So that pairing did help for that match. Yeah. David actually super selling the Ric Flair chops, which is good for him, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. How much of them are being laid in and how much, but whatever, right?
Yeah.
Vince Russo hits Ric Flair with a baseball bat and then handcuffs Ric Flair. David then lays in his own chops. I'm like, all right, okay, cool, nice. Figure 4. Vince Russo tries to choke Rick while he's at the ropes. And then he pie faces Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Because Ric Flair tried to help his dad.
Right? Like, we got to be careful of that. Dude's like 12. I mean?
Yeah. No, but here's the thing, right? Because of how small he is at this point, right?
Yeah.
He legit does a Shoryuken at Vince Russo's balls.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He does a low blow, but he looks like, Shoryuken. It's a proper... All right. Yeah. And then, then your girl, Ashley Flair, a.k.a. Charlotte.
Yep.
Gets the keys. Ric Flair gets the keys. Uncuffs Rick.
Yeah.
And then what's it called? And then Charlotte cuffs Vince Russo.
Because I think doesn't Reed tackle Vince Russo? That's why he's lying on the floor, and that's why Charlotte.
Yeah, the uppercut in the nuts.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm thinking of a different segment later in a different. I think I'm thinking of a segment on Nitro or something.
Yeah. And and then I think David is bullying Reed at this point.
Yeah.
Charlotte. Charlotte cuffs Vince Russo. Then obviously Ric Flair gets in control and David takes a back body drop, but not a particularly good one. Right?
Yeah, kind of weird. Oh God.
Yeah. Rick stomps on David's nuts.
Yeah.
Vince Russo is up from the nut cell as well, from being uppercutted in the nuts, and it's just like, Vince, you should be selling at least you're handcuffed there, right? Don't worry about too much about what you need to mouth off or how you're gonna call Charlotte Flair a bitch because you love to do that, right?
Yeah, I thought you can't be calling a 14-year-old that, man. That's a bit weird.
Yeah. You're at least cup your balls to sell your hurt.
Yeah.
But whatever, right? David taps to the figure 4 and you're like, all right, okay. I mean, fair enough. It should not be a 10-minute match, I will say that, right?
No.
However, it did have some bells and whistles, so fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Not great by any means, but is what it was what it was, and it was better than the first match.
Yeah, he did get better.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't become great or anything. He didn't take naturally to wrestling like his sister and brother did, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Now you didn't see it, but these are the extra matches that I watched, right?
Yeah.
David Flair versus Eric Bischoff, hair versus ownership of WCW.
Okay.
Yeah. So Bischoff, if he loses, gets his hair shaved, and I think if Bischoff wins, Ric Flair had control of WCW at this point, so Bischoff would win that, and that was on Nitro, 18th of January.
Yeah.
It was a minute long. Bischoff showing off to the crowd. This is like David Flair's second match, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Bischoff showing to the crowd, doing his karate kicks and everything like that.
Yeah.
Very, very lightly hitting David, obviously, who's deciding to block the kicks with his head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he thinks he's Moon Knight. You know how Moon I don't know, you haven't read it, right? You didn't get to Moon Knight, Taskmaster copies everyone, except that he's like, I don't copy Moon Knight because Moon Knight has never met a punch that he wouldn't take, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so David's walking to Eric Bischoff like a zombie, right? And I'd be like, damn, I'd be scared, man. This guy, he's eating them kicks and he just got no emotion whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
David Flair zombie gimmick. Anyways.
Real gimmick, but yeah, on.
yeah. Bischoff is throwing them kicks, hitting David, who's selling a little bit, and then showing about a bit too much. David gets up, right, and he does a Sid-like thump.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know, like a punch or anything like that, right? But it's a wrestling punch or an actual a real life punch, yeah.
Yeah.
David Flair was not throwing that either. It's like he was just like a massive swing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like, all right, okay, yeah. And then Bischoff gets pinned. I was like, okay, fair enough. He didn't need to do much, but even the one punch that he did do did not look convincing at all. I will say,
yeah.
Remember when Serge, who is Dixie Carter's husband, punched AJ Styles?
Yeah.
And AJ Styles sold it like he got shot in mid-air by a sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bischoff did not do that. And David Flair's punch was not even like Serge's punch. So, yeah. Yeah, that was not great whatsoever. What's the other? I then watched David Flair versus David Flair versus The Undertaker. This was when before Undertaker's match with Ric Flair at Royal Rumble. No, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania.
Yeah. Because I remember him going into the training center and like murdering David Flair. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So David Flair just gets beat up for a little bit, and then Ric Flair comes in to attack the Undertaker because not because he's trying to protect his boys, because partially that and partially because that beef has got so big. It's like, all right, man didn't get enough chance to do anything significant and non-significant. He didn't get a chance to embarrass himself either. So I don't know. They gave him what they thought he could do.
Yeah,
which was not much, to be fair. And it is the Undertaker. So exactly what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Right. I then watched Kurt Hennig versus David Flair TNA match.
Oh wow, yeah.
Which went, I mean, it was alright actually. He was much better at this point, right?
Yeah.
He could showboat to the crowd and everything like that. Actual crowd interaction stuff.
Yeah.
What else? Then I watched David Flair versus Horace the Psychopath, which is kind of like a Doink the Clown knockoff. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was better here as well. Like, it's like, okay, he finally got. He had it worked out.
Yeah.
He got big. He was bigger in size, and then he knew how to play to the camera and all that stuff. So I would say between when he started to now, he made a massive improvement.
Yeah. Well,
and then the last match
4 years later, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's unfortunate for him for having to learn on live TV.
Yeah, that's kind of a mean thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Then you had David Flair and Eric Watts versus the Beale Street Posse.
The who?
The Beale Street Posse. Exactly.
The Mean Street Posse.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was just some bunch of jobbers because they did get destroyed. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was like David Flair healing to the camera as well. Yeah, doing stuff. Yes. But if he wasn't Ric Flair's son, yeah, that's a kind of
that's. I do like. I feel sorry for him. Like he kind of bad luck, but he was kind of set up to fail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's because Shane McMahon came around this time.
Yeah.
And he was a success because he had the mighty skills, had ring capability.
Yeah.
And what he didn't have in match actual chain wrestling, all that stuff, the standard stuff. He could do spot monkey stuff.
Yeah.
And he was fearless enough to do it because he knew what he had to do in order to actually execute the match.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I guess Shane was he's probably more athletic as a child anyway. David Flair looks like, not being bad, like, he had no intention to do anything athletic.
Yeah. Yeah. So as much as we're ragging on his early ring work, I think later on he actually did. He looked much better. Obviously not really good enough to be on live TV, but independent circuit stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not cussing the indies, by the way. I'm just saying this guy wouldn't have got to TV if he wasn't Ric Flair's son.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And he'd probably been fine on the indies.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Opening match, like, lower mid card.
Yeah, maybe that. Yeah, he wouldn't be like world champion.
No. But he was fine. He was fine by the time he was closing up his career.
Yeah.
And he is that. I think his last match was in 2009.
Yeah, that's what.
So, and I'm not on TV, so I couldn't check that out. But yeah,
bless him. He's done all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like you say, he was in a tough position, and like this look, he's trained in WCW's power plant, right?
Yeah.
How many wrestlers can you say came out of WCW power plant that were actually really good, or even good?
None really.
No, it's Goldberg, but
that's depend. That's you know what I mean. Like, depends how you feel.
Yeah, Goldberg could come in, destroy people, and walk out, right?
Yeah,
but you couldn't put him in 10-minute plus matches.
No, but to be fair, I think AJ was from the power plant, and
Really?
Yeah.
No,
I'm pretty sure that's where he learned. That's where he started out, and then he went on to be I Am.
No, but probably AJ trained himself elsewhere.
I think you could be right. You could be right.
No, I don't. I'd say how many people would graduate from the PowerPoint that actually the power plant that actually not to knock the power plant deliberately and just to confine the restrictions. I'm just saying, right?
Yeah.
Getting trained by elsewhere would help you as well.
Yeah,
I'm just saying if you were just trained specifically power plant. I'd say the Giant, but then again, when you see early Giant matches, they weren't good either.
Oh wow. Well, okay. Depends on what iteration of the power plant we're talking about. I'm looking at it now.
Go on.
Like the early power plant, like it says here, while the school had several successful people in trainees, including Goldberg, maybe just said Kevin Nash, I guess.
I don't. I mean,
DDP is the only one I could say is like, yeah. I mean, like, yeah.
Well, to be fair to DDP, I will say he choreographed his match from top to bottom.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying whatever, right? I'm just saying the way that he made sure his matches were right was by sticking to completely what he'd written and no deviations.
Yeah.
Which is good. But then, if that's the style you're working, I don't know if like early matches, everyone should probably learn how to do matches like that, because then you get a feel for when you need to show out and build up and stuff like that, because those are the things you worry about and you forget to do when you're actually in the match, because you're worried about remembering your spots.
Okay. It has trainees here, but I think a lot of them, I guess, were beforehand.
All right. So enough of knocking Ric Flair. David Flair, right?
Yeah.
Let's give the boy some praise, yeah? Like we were saying earlier, yeah?
Yeah.
I believe he dated Tori Wilson and he dated Stacy Keibler.
Yeah, so, dude won, realistically.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
it's just like, so whatever you could, whatever rubbish you could say about David Flair, he could just say back to you, but look, I got two of the hottest women at their peak during wrestling.
Yeah.
What
have you done?
Yeah, exactly. And you'd be like, yeah.
Touche, my friend. Touche.
Yeah. I don't think I wouldn't say we know enough about David Flair, the man himself, to actually say negative or positive. But in that case, if he stayed out of the I want to say the dirt sheets or backstage and stuff like that, That's good on him, right? Because
exactly,
then that means people won't chatting rubbish about him.
No,
you know. I just think, like you were saying, he was in the unfortunate position of being Ric Flair's son, firstly, and then having to wrestle with that legacy. Because then the people expect you to be just as capable, and they should never put him out there with zero skill whatsoever.
Because like from what I sort of was reading as well, like he had like no intention ever to become a wrestler. And I think they sort of not forced him, but kind of writ him into it, and is I guess.
Yeah, the one-off appearance fine, but then don't dangle a contract at the boy.
Yeah.
And say like if you're gonna give him the contract, then at least have him disappear for 6 months.
Yeah.
Train in the power plant or wherever and then he could come back and do stuff. Just like don't throw him in the storylines. And to be fair, I will say this, right? If that contract was given to us, we'd probably do the same.
I'll do the same. Not gonna lie, I'll do the exact same thing.
Yeah. But the problem then is like we know better.
Yeah. You know, hindsight's 20/20 at this point. You know.
No, it's just like basically if they said, all right, here's the money, you go on TV, right? I couldn't even argue saying, but what about if I train? No. I'll go on TV, you know?
What's training? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So,
that's not a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, we obviously don't know how much money he made, but, you know, if that's the case, like, you take the money, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Especially at his age. He was like 19 when he started, you know, like...
Yeah.
Like, cool, I don't have to go to college or anything. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Or even if he would, like, let me take the money, let me do some out-ring stuff. Yeah. Train in ring until I'm capable of doing in ring stuff, or be just like, look, let me train and give me the contract. Let me train, and my contract won't kick in until this point, or whatever, right? But you know, anyways, side tangent, Ric Flair stuff, or David Flair stuff, or whatever. Oh, Flair stuff, full stop. Yep. Gorgeous George versus Charles Robinson.
Yeah.
Now Charles Robinson was Lil Nate, and he was so Ric Flair.
Yeah, he's more Ric Flair than Ric Flair's actual son. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the thing, right? As much as they only did the basic stuff here. I think they had a segment where they're doing wrist locks, reversals and stuff like that for a good portion of the match. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was getting popped. Yeah. Oh. And then Charles Robinson super having it up and like, yeah. I don't think their in-ring capabilities are amazing, but he made up for his segments with character. Yeah. He threw himself 100% into Ric Flair imitation. Yeah. Not Ric Flair clone, because he was just completely over the top with it.
Yeah.
But he knew his role and he just went for it. Good stuff.
Committing to the part, man. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He even did the Flair flop, which was like, oh, Charles Robinson.
When David Flair did it in one match, he was like, oh, that looks so cringe.
Yeah. And then there was a segment which Bischoff was mouthing off, and then Arn Anderson came out with Ric Flair, and then Ric Flair does 10-year-old Ric Flair does a Ric Flair impersonation, and I was like, you know what? You didn't do too bad, boy.
No,
you there's a bit where he stumbled over the line, but then he didn't super panic. He just went on to his next thing. I'm like, oh, this guy, he ain't so bad.
Yeah, he could be all right, you know.
Yeah. Mean, woo, Gene. I was like, okay.
Oh, bless him.
And to be fair, I will say, at this point, right, he had ring presence and charisma more than David, much more than David.
Yeah, I feel so. I feel so sorry for that guy, man.
But then again, I would say, would you say that Reed was a guy who you'd think was going to be more of a wrestler?
Yeah,
and heading in that direction rather than, you know, because he just seemed to be a bit more natural in everything.
Like you say, it came off more natural to him rather than like David is like, oh, you're kind of like
stiff. It's the best way to put it.
Forced to sort of be doing this. Like,
It's like David's not sure of the inner workings of kayfabe.
Yeah. Yes.
And Reed was like, boy, I'm in. All right, I'm in.
Yeah, like, okay. I'm fully bored. Yeah, you could tell like it was more of his passion than it was going to be David's, you know.
And then the final Ric Flair tangent that we're going to throw in here. Yeah. I sent you a segment of the Iron Claw movie.
Oh yeah,
where you had,
I could only watch half, and I was like, no, this is.
And by the way, it's a YouTube short. Okay,
Yeah.
so it was TikTok, so not even a minute long, and you're telling me you couldn't even watch it all the way through.
No.
Okay, so it was the dude that was doing the section of Ric Flair in the Iron Claw, and he kind of does look like Ric Flair, but he does not cut his promo like Ric Flair. He cuts it like generic.
Yes.
Arrogant, egotistical, charismatic, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But he's not Ric Flair. That's the problem. Because if you're going to base something on Ric Flair, you act like Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Go on, tell me what you saw. Tell me what you thought when you saw the bits that you did see.
I just thought, wow, this is like some weird, cheap cosplay. Like you said, it looked like Ric Flair. I was like, okay, but as soon as he opened his mouth, I was like, there's no gravitas or like believing in his own words. It's like, oh, someone gave you a script that day. Like, okay, I'll just read this. That's how it sounded to me. I was like, oh wow.
Yeah, and he didn't read it in like how Ric Flair tones or mannerisms and stuff like that.
Boy. And stuff like that.
Yeah. He didn't sound like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think that the actor himself was saying, he deliberately did not watch any Ric Flair stuff, which obviously you can tell.
Yeah.
Because he don't want it to influence him. It's like, you're playing a character of a guy who actually did exist. You are meant to play exactly like him.
Yeah.
If you just saw a tape of him and copied the exact mannerisms in that exact segment, right? Then and portrayed that people would praise you because that is exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
I will say this right now: if this section, I don't know if you agree or disagree with me, right? Or maybe you'll think I'm just saying it for kind of the jokes that I am going to be partially saying it for. But
yeah,
if this segment started and instead of like you see him from the front of the guy, you see the back of the guy and he's in Ric Flair robe and he's got his blonde hair from behind, yeah. And then he's cutting his promo sound like Ric Flair, go, woo, nature boy, and as he turns around, it's actually Jay Lethal.
Yeah, I'll be like, I actually be like, okay, I'm down for that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, like at least that Jay Lethal playing Ric Flair. It's got to be 100% a version of Ric Flair, even though he's black, and it don't matter about that because he's meant to be playing the character. But like, I accept that. I accept when Michael Clark Duncan played Kingpin. I can accept Jay Lethal playing Ric Flair.
Yeah, but they just didn't. It just wasn't good. That's what I say. It just wasn't good. I'm interested to see the film Iron Claw, which comes out soon.
Well, it's already out. What do you mean on streaming? Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, at some point, yeah. I'm like, I was gonna say they should make a film of Ric Flair, but they shouldn't because that's dangerous territory at the moment. So yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. So, just to close up on our boy David
Flair. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not terrible. He's not amazing, right?
No.
He just is.
He just is
the best way to put it.
Yeah.
He is an example of nepotism in wrestling, but then again, he's probably not the shining example of the worst type of nepotism in wrestling. Because he didn't have the ring capabilities to get him to that far.
Yeah. He kind of, I don't want to say lucked into it. He wasn't lucked into it. He was kind of forced into it in a way.
Yeah. You remember? Yeah. You kind of remember him for how bad he was. So he did get better. It's just that he didn't have that national exposure by that point, so no one could see how much better he had gotten.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but I think once he started having some sort of gimmick and embracing that, like his crazy crowbar gimmick or whatever, he gave him something to work with. Yeah,
like having Daphne and Crowbar with him kind of helped as well. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But like we were saying from look, the best we could say about David Flair is his girlfriend list rivals CM Punk's.
Yeah, it does. So in a way, he is a winner.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. It's just like. It's just like if Damian Wayne said that his dad can beat your dad, and you know it's true because his dad is Batman.
Yeah.
That's exactly what David Flair is like. Yeah. Well, who did you go out with? Exactly.
Exactly. He's like, okay, you win. Yeah.
And you know what he should have done? Actually, use that as part of his gimmick. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, not like, you know, I know he had that crowbar gimmick, and he wouldn't mess with that. But if he was going to ladies' man gimmick or something like that,
yeah,
the truth,
worked.
You know, hitting the truth, and you know the crowd would have hated him for that. So yeah,
it could have worked. But you know, who knows now? He's. I hope he's doing well in life. Yeah. If I'm honest,
yeah. Seems. I mean, hey, look. he had this time of fame, and he was doing wrestling, like Weekend Warrior wrestling. Well, I don't mean that in a mocking way. I'm just saying he still took independent matches and stuff like that to do stuff. So at some point he did get a passion for it, and he's better than most of us who trained and then did not even get to that point.
Yeah, exactly. So heads up. I mean, hats off to him, man. He is inspiration. If I'm honest, you know.
Yeah.
Good on him.
Yeah. Will he make a further appearances? You never know, right? I think the last time he actually was on TV was for Ric Flair's match with Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
And he didn't actually wrestle in that.
No.
So yeah.
Trying to think another time. I'm trying to think, was he there when the Four Horsemen got inducted to the Hall of Fame?
Oh, I can't.
No.
Yeah, no. But yeah, David Flair. They tried to make him a Shane McMahon knockoff, and it didn't work. Because Vince Russo thinks that he can do something. Then with Vince fine tuning it, and then Vince does it again with no filter.
Yeah, you're like, this is why you needed a filter.
Yeah, exactly.
Something to steer that crazy. Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah. But all in all, I'd say, well, like as far as having a career, he did have one.
Yeah. More than I did.
And it got more decent towards the back end of it.
Yeah. Good on him, man. Good on him.
Yeah. Okay, that'll close us up for this episode of Trip Around the Multiverse.
Yes, just to close it up. Thank you for listening to us talk about and discuss the WCW career of the young David Flair, the Nature Boy 2, even though he wasn't.
Charles Robinson was more Nature Boy 2, right?
Charlotte's more.
Even though technically speaking, even though Ric Flair is Nature Boy 2, because Buddy Rogers was Nature Boy 1.
Original. Scott Steiner likes to remind everyone,
yeah.
You old yellow teeth. Yeah. But anyway, thank you for listening to us discuss David Flair. Do you remember David Flair in WCW? Or are you too young or wasn't watching WCW at the time? If not, you just find it.
And I don't think I'd advise watching any of the matches that we watched.
No, maybe
or any David Flair match, probably.
Yeah, probably TNA stuff, to be honest.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, no, they're more watchable. Yeah, but I wouldn't tell people to go out their way to watch them.
No, I wouldn't tell them to do that either. Because it's not a smart thing to do.
Yeah. But, he's competent. He gets competent, but that's as far as it kind of goes.
Yes. So I guess here. Yes, and you can get my fine on the internet. And while you're doing that, you might as well subscribe to our YouTube channel, which the link for that is in our description. And you might as well follow us on Instagram and Twitter, which is also in our description. And while you're all these places, give us like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about us. And if you listen to this in the podcast form, like audio form, don't forget to give us a 5-star review. It'd be very nice. And until next time, guys, I'd like to thank you all for taking a trip with us around the multiverse. Bye.
Bye.